Hey all, I just wanted to jump in really quickly before our regular scheduled video to let you know that I am launching a new YouTube subscriber Q&A series called EQ&A, where I'm going to help you balance out your production knowledge. I get so many great questions on my YouTube videos, and oftentimes giving an answer in text just isn't enough. So I'm going to do this series once a month where I can address your questions in a video and show examples to answer them. If you have a music question that you would like me to answer in the first episode of EQ&A, head to the pinned comment directly below this video and leave your question as a reply. I'm gathering questions over the next week or so, and I'm going to answer some of my favorite in episode 1. Okay, let's jump into today's video. Hey there, my name is ZW Buckley, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to teach you a music production secret for unlocking instant creative inspiration, and frankly, it's pretty darn simple. Whenever a plugin or piece of gear is meant to be used in one way, use it in the opposite. Go as far away from its intended use as you can manage. 9 times out of 10, you will discover something incredibly fun and exciting. Case in point, this week I have been messing around with Expressive Chords, which is meant to help you write better chord progressions, on drums. And today I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that yourself. Now, just a quick note before we get started, I would really encourage you to watch this one all the way through to the end, because you're going to have to set up your drum rack in a pretty specific way to make this work. Let's jump in. So each cell of Expressive Chords holds a short MIDI clip containing a chord. If you just play a cell, it outputs a block chord. That is, of course, not very expressive, and that's where the various controls on Expressive Chords come into play. Expressive Chords allows you to strum, invert, and just variously change the way the chords are played. These controls are generally focused on adding rhythmic movement and playing with the velocity of the chords, and that just instantly made me think of drums. So I set out on trying to figure out how to get this to work. What made this entirely possible is the fact that you can load your own chords into Expressive Chords, which essentially just turns it into a MIDI sampler. For Expressive Chords to work well as a sequencer for a drum rack, it has to be filled with chords that trigger cells in your drum rack. So I experimented with different chords, all contained within about the first octave and a half, starting on C1, because those are all the notes that are commonly contained within a drum rack. From there, all you have to do is highlight the clip and then click Import Chords from clips within Expressive Chords. From there, I just grouped it on itself and then started setting up macros with the controls that were most relevant for me. Tilt plays with the velocity of the notes in your chord. Invert reorders the notes in your chord. Strum is where you break up the chord then into short arpeggios of each individual note in the chord. And articulation changes then the pattern of the strum. You can, of course, reverse the articulation, and then variation is just the random variation. I wanted to be able to introduce randomness. Transpose just lets you shift where on the drum rack it's being played. And then the mod wheel control, I set it up so that the 4 top controls can be controlled by the mod wheel on a keyboard. And just by bringing it up and down, I can shift that percentage. And so if I just hit a key that corresponds with one of these cells, it's going to play that chord. And depending on how I play with the controls, it plays a short rhythmic pattern. It plays the chord. So I then sequenced a short 1-measure pattern and started playing around with the randomized control on the macros until interesting patterns started to emerge. If you don't know the power of macro randomization, then you need to pause this video and watch this video right now, then come back to this one. Frankly, macro randomization is another wildly powerful sound design secret, so watch that video. Some of these grooves are really loose, so then let me add in the kick and the snare here, and you're going to hear how that push and pull of the loose hi-hats with the on-grid kick and snare creates, gosh, such a strong groove. And just save the ones that sound good to you. Now, to get Expressive Chords as a drum sequencer to work nicely with Drum Rack, you also have to set up Drum Rack in a very specific way. As I mentioned, the cells on Expressive Chords start being triggered on C1 and move up from there. Drum Rack also starts to get triggered on C1. For the example that I have here, my goal was to generate interesting hi-hat patterns with Expressive Chords, but sequence the kick and the snare on their own. And so to do that, I needed to invert the normal order of a drum rack. Usually your kick and your snares are in the bottom row. Instead, my kick and the 3 snares I'm using are all on the very top row. This ensures that they won't be a part of the main cluster of cells that is being triggered by Expressive Chords. I can only trigger one of these if I play with the articulation to bring up to one of those notes, which sometimes adds a lot of interesting rhythmic variation, but still gives me control, which is what I want here. And then also to ensure that all of the hi-hats didn't overlap, I placed all of them in a single choke group. So that way it doesn't sound like an actual chord with all these drums being clustered over on top of one another. They are chopping each other up, and it's essentially doing something kind of like a break. And then finally, to be able to trigger both Expressive Chords and cells directly in Drum Rack, I needed to take Expressive Chords and nest it in a parent MIDI effect rack so that I could create a second chain that sends the direct MIDI information to Drum Rack as well. And let's hear it in context with some instruments. So wildly cool. You can grab this Expressive Drums preset from my website for free and start messing around with it on your own. If you have my total bundle, you don't have to sign up for this preset again. It's already included in the My Products section on my website. You just have to log in and go download it. And thank you for supporting the work that I'm doing here on this channel. I also wanted to mention that whenever you do pick up a preset from my website, included in that download is also a subscription to my Monday morning newsletter, Keep Living with Music, which is all about music production. I discuss creative mindset, building a music career, production workflow, and so much more. If you enjoy how I approach music production on this channel, then chances are you will enjoy Keep Living with Music as well. I hope to see you there next Monday. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video inspires you to color outside the lines a little bit when it comes to music production. Please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. I am working so hard to try to grow this channel to 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, and your engagement goes so far to helping me achieve that goal. Have fun this week playing around with Expressive Chords. Till next time.